Well, I've been itching to find something to criticize about Tim Challies, and I found it. Well, just before we begin, let me just say thank you to everybody who's purchased a No Despair t-shirt. I don't know how many of you have bought this design or the No Despair 2020 design, but every purchase is much appreciated. It absolutely supports this channel, and it's a really cool way to support this channel whilst getting something tangible in return, and I believe this is a really good conversation starter, especially if you're looking to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, because as you know from apologetics class, we're supposed to have an answer ready when anyone asks about the hope that is within us, and despair is the absence of hope. People are going to wonder why you are not in despair. The stock market's tanking, coronavirus is everywhere, everything's gone crazy, but Christians should have no despair. Now, before we begin, let me just say this. I actually have not been looking for anything to criticize about Tim Challies. I don't read him. I know he's very popular. I don't know much about him at all. The only thing I do know is that he's a public school advocate, which I personally cannot understand, but that's okay. It's not really my area. Okay, fine. Somebody sent this to me, so I did not go hunting for this, but this is so interesting, and the reason they tagged me is because Tim Challies was the example that Kevin DeYoung used. If you remember in that article that I criticized about, from Kevin DeYoung, he was the exception to the rule. He's an internet pundit, only does internet punditry apparently, but he's a trusted resource. He's Big Eva approved. And so that's why they sent it to me, because they wanted me to see an example of his content. And I got to be honest with you, I watched this clip. Nothing could be more Big Eva than this clip. This is like peak Big Eva. Everything about it. Just take a look at this here. We've got Tim here. Even the way he's dressed and the background, that really kind of hipster rock formation there. Even the way he's kind of standing off to the side of the pulpit. You don't want to come off too authoritative. You don't want to stand behind the podium. That's way too authoritative. You kind of want to just be off to the side. We're just talking here after all. We're just talking. That's so Big Eva. Everything about this is Big Eva. The only thing that could make this more Big Eva, look, even his glasses, even the way he's kind of folding his hands here, everything's Big Eva here. The only way this could be more Big Eva is if it had very winsome music, and it doesn't. It's just a raw video of this question and answer thing. But since this is my video, I can put some very winsome music. Let's find some. Perfect. Let's listen to this clip. I will play the Big Eva winsome music behind it, just so you know that is an edit. I'm not editing anything he's saying, but I am adding some winsome music just because I want to. Here is what this video is all about.
Hey, Tim. Just a question. If we're walking a road with a professing Christian, have a close relationship with them, and they identify themselves as, say, a gay Christian, what they mean by that is same-sex attraction. What does repentance look like biblically for someone who experiences or who has same-sex attraction?
Okay, this is the question. This is the question that is so important in this culture, in this time, in this day and age. This is where the enemy is attacking the church right now. Same-sex attraction, homosexuality. Just look at all the people who are deconverting lately. There's so many people, when they talk about their deconversion story, they talk about how finally they can affirm their gay and lesbian friends and all this stuff. This is the issue. This is it. So if you are a public Christian, and what I mean by that is someone who is going to get asked questions like this on the spot, where it's going to be recorded, and you need to be prepared to knock this one out of the park. You just do. At this point, you need to be prepared to knock it out of the park. And let's just not mince words here. This is no more complicated than being asked this. Hey, Mr. Big Eva celebrity pastor type, what does repentance look like when you desire women besides your wife? Like if you're walking down the street and you have these desires to have sex with every woman that you see, what does repentance look like in those situations? This question is no more complicated than that question. Let's see what Tim Challies has to say.
So this is another one of those issues that we as a church are working out, and I think that's okay. If you look across the sweep of 2,000 years of church history, this whole idea of same-sex attraction or gay Christian or all these different terms that have come up, These are very, very new when measured against the history of Christianity. So I also think it's unrealistic to expect that we'll solve it immediately. And so within Christianity, we see a wide spectrum of professed Christians who are saying that's absolutely, utterly wrong in every way. Even the desire or the tendency toward homosexuality is itself sinful. Other people lining up more that know the tendency itself or the temptation itself is not sinful. It's only sinful if you act on it. I think we're giving this time, and on both a practical level and a theological level, really working that out. And to be honest, I don't want to speak broadly on that. I've had the opportunity to speak individually to people on that. I just think there's so much knowledge you have to get.
Let me just stop you right there. I just want to tell you what just happened. I am shooting a Nerf gun, as you can see. And I shot my window, and it's stuck in the window. It's one of those that has a little suction cup. And then, if you noticed, I took a second shot. And let me just tell you, boys, that I hit the dart a second time. I am a Nerf gun Deadeye.
From them, there's so much you have to draw out of them before I want to speak very, very bluntly to them. There's a lot of people now who are, I'd say, leaning that way just because it's a category that's been created, and children from a young age are being taught you might be that way. Or if you have a really good friend who's a boy and you're a boy, maybe it's because you're gay, those sorts of things. My daughter goes to public school, and she's got a girl that she's very close with. They're very close friends, as you'd hope any girl to have, but they'll be accused of being lesbians just because they're girls who love one another. That's only because culture is pressing in on that and really destroying friendship by indicating there must be a sexual component to any relational intimacy. And so I think there's a lot of people who think they're same-sex attracted, but they're not. They're just friends, or they've gone down that trail for any number of reasons. So I just want to be able to speak to people and draw that out of them. What's really going on? Is that really a deep temptation? Is it more just a confusion? And I think over time it becomes pretty apparent how to speak to them in a way that really helps them through it, instead of kind of going in guns a-blazing and just saying, no, this is what's true there. That time will come. But I feel very hesitant to jump straight to a very blunt answer there without first hearing from them, hearing their heart. Sorry, that's not a full answer, but maybe I'm being deliberately evasive.
I'm sure that's not a full answer. Yeah, there's so much here. There is so much here, and I do want to talk about this more. Today is not the day for it, though, and I'm sorry if this is kind of a bait and switch for you, but I want you to sit on that and let it marinate and think about what Tim has said here. This is peak Big Eva. This is the end of Big Eva. This is the telos of Big Eva. I think that's the right word. I'm not so sure. But anyway, I'm going to respond to this in a little bit more depth. There was 2.5 minutes of answer there, and there's just so much. There's so many strings to follow, and wow. Let's just say, wow. Anyway, sorry for the bait and switch. I just don't have the time to do it right now. But one way to guarantee that I'd have a lot more time for this kind of thing is to support my channel. I don't make my income primarily on YouTube. I make less than 5% of my income on YouTube. If you love my content, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Even as little as $1 helps. Also, if you want to potentially support the channel in a different way, again, purchase a No Despair 2020 t-shirt, and that's a good way to support the channel while getting something in exchange that is tangible, that you can use and you can wear. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and entertaining. God bless. Seriously though, that shot was amazing. I hit the window, it stuck into the window, and then I just quickly shot again and hit the dart. Unbelievable. You know how hard it is to shoot a Nerf gun accurately? Especially one of this low quality. Anyway, God bless.